Can you imagine a world without James Bond? No Chicana-stirred martinis, no iconic gun barrel sequence, no suave super spy saving the world time and time again. It almost happened. The man who brought 007 to life, the legendary Sir Sean Connery, faced a career-ending scandal before he ever uttered the words Bond, James Bond. This is the story of how a single event nearly erased one of cinema's greatest icons from history before he even had a chance to shine. Let's rewind to the late 1950s. Sean Connery was a promising but still relatively unknown actor. He was rugged, handsome, and had a raw charisma that casting directors were starting to notice. But he was also a man with a tough upbringing, known for his fiery temper and a no-nonsense attitude. He was working hard, taking roles in theater and on television, slowly building his reputation. The future looked bright, but it was all about to be thrown into jeopardy by a clash of egos and a single, explosive moment of violence. The setting was the set of a television production called Another Time, Another Place. Connery was co-starring with the glamorous Hollywood actress Lana Turner. Turner was a huge star at the time, one of the biggest names in the business, and her personal life was constant fodder for the gossip columns. At that moment, her real-life boyfriend was a man named Johnny Stompanato, a notorious gangster and an associate of the infamous mobster, Mickey Cohen. Stompanato was fiercely jealous and possessive, and he'd heard completely unfounded rumors that Turner and Connery were having an affair on set. Fueled by paranoia, Stompanato flew from Los Angeles to London, stormed onto the film set, and confronted Connery. Witnesses described a tense scene. Stompanato, a man used to getting his way through intimidation, pulled out a gun and pointed it directly at Sean Connery. Think about that for a second. A future icon, the man who would become James Bond, was staring down the barrel of a real gun, wielded by a real gangster. This wasn't a movie scene, this was terrifyingly real. Now, how do you think Sean Connery reacted? Did he back down? Did he call for help? No. In a move that foreshadowed the unflappable coolness of his most famous character, Connery didn't even flinch. He calmly and swiftly disarmed Stompanato, twisting the gun out of his hand. But he didn't stop there. Accounts from the time say Connery then knocked Stompanato flat on his back. He didn't just neutralize the threat. He physically overpowered a known mob enforcer. The crew, who had been frozen in fear, quickly intervened and had Stompanato escorted off the set by Scotland Yard. He was deported back to the United States shortly after. You'd think this would make Connery a hero, right? A brave actor who stood up to a dangerous criminal? But this is Hollywood, and the story wasn't that simple. In the immediate aftermath, the studio and the press tried to bury the incident. An on-set fight involving a major star like Lana Turner and her gangster boyfriend was a public relations nightmare. They wanted it to just go away. But the story was too juicy to stay hidden for long, and when it did leak, the narrative began to spin. Instead of being praised for his courage, Connery was painted as a hot-headed brawler. The focus shifted from Stompanato's aggression to Connery's violent response. Whispers started circulating in the industry. Was he too difficult? Too dangerous to work with? Remember, at this point, he wasn't Sean Connery, the superstar. He was a working actor whose reputation was everything. This one incident had the potential to blacklist him, to label him as unemployable just as his career was about to take off. The shadow of this fight lingered, threatening to overshadow his talent. Tragically, the story took an even darker turn just a few months later. Back in Beverly Hills, during another one of his jealous rages, Johnny Stompanato was stabbed to death. The person holding the knife was Lana Turner's teenage daughter, Cheryl Crane, who claimed she was defending her mother from a violent attack. The resulting trial was one of the biggest scandals of the era, a media circus that captivated the nation. The court ultimately ruled it was justifiable homicide, but the entire affair was a sordid, tragic mess. And where did that leave Sean Connery? His name was inevitably dragged back into the spotlight. His on-set confrontation with Stompanato was now seen as a prelude, a piece of a much larger, more violent puzzle. The association, however indirect, was toxic. For any producer looking to cast their next big project, hiring an actor linked, even tangentially, to a mobster's violent death was a massive risk. It seemed like Connery's career might be over before it truly began. He was radioactive. The dream of becoming a leading man was fading fast. But then, fate intervened. Two producers, Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman, were in the middle of a difficult search. They had acquired the rights to Ian Fleming's novels about a British secret agent, James Bond, and they were struggling to find the perfect actor. They had considered big names like Cary Grant and Richard Burton, but they needed someone with a specific blend of charm, danger, and raw physicality. They needed someone who was believable as both a gentleman and a killer. Despite the controversy surrounding him, or perhaps even because of it, Sean Connery's name came up. Dana Broccoli, Cubby's wife, was instrumental. She saw past the scandal and recognized the animal magnetism and the tough guy persona that was perfect for 007. She reportedly told her husband, "He's the one, he moves like a panther." The producers decided to take a chance. They met with Connery, and despite his rough-around-the-edges demeanor, he reportedly showed up to the meeting looking rather unkempt. They saw the same thing. They saw the swagger, the confidence, the raw power. They saw James Bond. The gamble paid off in a way no one could have ever imagined. Dr. No was a smash hit in 1962, and Sean Connery was launched into global superstardom. He wasn't just an actor playing a role. HEWAS, James Bond. That same incident that almost destroyed his career, the confrontation with Stompanaton, now seemed to add to his mystique. The story became a legend, proof that the man who played the unflappable spy was just as tough in real life. The scandal was reframed as a badge of honor. It's a fascinating what-if scenario. What if Stompanato had never come to the set? Would Connery have still been seen as having that essential edge of danger? Or, what if the producers had listened to the whispers and decided he was too much of a risk? We might have had a very different James Bond, and the entire course of movie history could have changed. Sean Connery's career is a powerful testament to talent, timing, and a little bit of luck. He faced down a real-life villain and a career-canceling scandal and came out the other side, not just unscathed, but stronger. He became an icon, a legend whose legacy is forever cemented in cinematic history. So the next time you watch one of his classic films, remember the story behind the star. Remember the moment his entire future hung in the balance, and how his own real life, courage, and a producer's daring choice saved him from being just a footnote in Hollywood history. It's a reminder that sometimes, the greatest legends are born from the greatest challenges. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden histories of Hollywood. See you in the next one.